What is up, dudes? Welcome back to another video. We have got a different video for you guys today because it's unlikely anything will drop. We've got team of the season so far dropping tomorrow, new season dropping tomorrow, so obviously there's going to be a lot over the weekend. Plus I'm going to want to be playing weekend league, so are you guys, because we will get team of the season rewards in our player picks. So I thought, do you know what? Nothing's going to drop today. I'm going to show you guys my team, my meta team with custom tactics so far, before pre-team of the season, pre-team of the season, because, well, I've been using this team for quite a while now, slowly tweaking it, and I feel this is the best team that I've been playing with. So we're going to jump right in and let's show you guys. So you can see straight off the bat, obviously I've got a fair few team of the years. If you have been watching the channel, you will know that obviously I packed Allison as tradable and Delict as tradable, and then I also packed untradeable Robertson and untradeable Mane, which was my main pull. You just have a quick look and see the return that I'm getting on Mane there. I'm probably not going to go into that much detail, but on Mane, because he is my key player, you can see I've got one hell of a return. He is expensive. I'm not going to pretend he isn't. I'm not going to pretend he's an easy player to get, but he is so good. So good. I use a finisher on him. Just look at his stats there. Just look at those stats, and he is rapid. He is deadly in front of goal, as you would expect with those stats. His passing is definitely his worst attribute. He's not particularly, I mean, he's very good at linking up, but I would say it is his downside, if anything, is he's not incredible at linking up with the others. Physicals, the stamina is great. The strength is a little low, hence why I have finisher on him, just to boost that a touch. But other than that, it is an incredible card. Obviously, his dribbling is incredible, but to be expected. Flair as well for a team of the year card. But yeah, so that is my Mane. So I don't go in to game like this. I go in very similar, but I'll just run through a few more of the players. So we've got base Van Dijk. I've not actually packed Van Dijk on this account, which I'm a little bit shocked with. So I bought him, quite expensive now for what he is, what he's down to, but he's incredible. Definitely use. Now Delict, I don't see too many people using Delict, and I think the reason for this is probably because of his linkability. So up until very recently, well, if you saw, I packed Mateus in my prime icon pack, so I was using Dominguez in there just for a link to Delict. As you see, he is on 8 chem, and he has been an 8 chem almost the entire time. He's still incredible, definitely worth getting him since he is one of the cheapest. If you can fit him into your team, I would highly recommend him. But Dominguez was great for me. He was incredible. I can't really fault that card at all. But Mateus obviously is prime icon. He is better. He's an alternative for sure. Before that, I was using Allen for such a long time, along with my regular Kante. This Kante I bought right before the market sort of took a dip, which is a big shame because I could have got him for a fair amount cheaper. Not right before, but like a couple of weeks before. I hadn't used him that much, put it that way. I only used him for like one weekend league. Anyway, so this Kante is obviously brilliant. He really is. But the base Kante has been brilliant for me this entire game cycle. Really, I've used him for quite a while, and obviously fits in exactly the same there. But no, I was using Allen for a considerable amount of time. Along with before I got Van Dijk, I was using player, Road to the Final, Eder Militao. I have sold him now, but I don't like selling cards. I had to sell a few to get Kante, but I tried to keep most of them in the club just so I can remember them and potentially use them again. So this Alan card I've kept hold of. Got him first owner as well. So I played a few games with him, and obviously he linked up with Militao and then Roberto Carlos on the left-hand side. This was before the Team of the Year. So earlier in the game cycle, they were pretty good. And that Alan card was very decent for me, very decent. Obviously wasn't amazing going forward, so I did use him more as my stay back. But yeah, still, I think a very decent card. If you've got that Brazilian link, he's probably, I would recommend, worth picking up. Side note on a player who hasn't performed great for me. So I got Ramsey, because obviously you slide him in here, he gets links with everyone. So 10 chem all along there. So that was the only way that gave the link to 10 chem, which was great. And keeping James on chem. Obviously playing Roberto Carlos out of position, I never get more than 7 chem on him, but he does a job. He does the job well enough. He's a good enough card. It is one position that I would definitely consider upgrading, but I'm trying to do it as much first owner as I can. There's a couple of players like the Van Dijk bought just because I never packed him, and I did need him for for this setup, and I wanted to eventually upgrade that Kante, and obviously I can't pack the Team of the Year anymore. But I try and do as much of it first owner, just because I think it's a little bit more enjoyable, actually using players that you've got. But yeah, the Ramsey was just very underwhelming for me. Very underwhelming. I don't know if it's my play style that didn't suit him or what it was, but I really didn't get on with that card particularly well. I don't know if it was because Dominguez was so good for me. Looking at his stats, obviously Dominguez was much more defensive, but I just found that Ramsey, even though I was using him as the go forward instead, he didn't seem to be, I don't know, I just didn't feel that card particularly well. So Dominguez came back in, which just dropped Elixir Chem, but it really doesn't matter. 10-8 there's not much of a difference on a Team of the Year. He is still incredible either way. But then yeah, Mateus sliding in there, very good. Obviously he's an expensive card, but very, very good. Obviously Alisson in goal. Goalkeepers don't really matter. I mean, I've read a few reviews and some people have said, oh, he's terrible, and it's like, he's not been terrible for me at all. I played a lot of games with him, this Alisson, 187 games, but yeah, he was great, he is great, and I think it also just looks good having all of these Team of the Years in there. I'd really like that Van Dijk Team of the Year, to be honest, just to complete that side. That would be nice, and maybe at some point I will get that card. So who else have we got? Obviously Roberto Carlos, like I mentioned, he's been a stay-in player. Look, he played a fair amount of games for me as well. He's sort of stuck in there in the team, slid him across the right back, just as good. No issues with him at all. Daniel James, now this card obviously a lot of people use. He was relatively easy to pick up. Obviously you can't pick him up now, so if you haven't got him, it's a little bit difficult to acquire him, but great card. Really, really is. The pace is obviously brilliant. I just find he gets into positions out wide. I'll go into my custom tactics a little bit more in just a second. Now, Maradona, again, if you know anything about the channel, this is his middle, which I picked up fairly recently. And I also have his baby, and his baby was the card that I used the most. I used that for the longest time. Now, I'm still undecided on this, whether I prefer his baby or prefer his mid. The pace, obviously, on his baby is faster, and so I put Hunter on the mid just to boost it up a little bit, and he is now obviously faster than the baby with this chem style. But I don't know, even with the shooting boosted, I just feel like the other Maradona was a little bit more deadly, a little bit better finisher in front of goal. I don't know why. But yeah, it is a difficult one because there's so many of his stats that are better. The other one is his stamina is lower on the middle, and that is something that I don't like at all, because I don't like using a fresh squad fitness every game. I just don't think I don't see the point in it in many players. I mean, I probably would be better off in some cases if it went the full distance or goes to extra time, but I like saving that and not having to spend my coins on that so much. So I try and play 2 games often out of 1. This Maradona, I am constantly finding that I am putting a player fitness on him between the 2 because he just gets tired. That's that slight difference. I mean, 75, I think the other one was like 81 or something, but it does make all the difference. It really does. So I do find him slow. Martial, another player that I packed, and I've sort of stayed loyal with him. He's not incredible, and there are definitely better players out there. Like I could buy someone that would slide in that slot so much better, but I don't know. Even his upgrade, he has a better card, but I don't know. I've stuck by this card. I don't play him up front, but again, I will go into that detail at the end. Now, my bench, depending on how I'm playing and what I know I want to do, I'll obviously stick on these guys just to drop down that rating a little bit if I'm not going to necessarily use, but I put all the players that I consider using. We'll start with Omri because he's obviously a loan. Omri or best loans I've been using. I have one of them on the bench often just as like a backup if I am struggling in a game for some reason. It's going down the line, down to the wire, and extra time or something, and I need a goal. I often save someone like this to bring on just in case I need them. But we'll go through. So we also have Rush and Lippmann. I don't tend to use these guys very much. I've got like a second team that I use, like if I'm just fancy playing some rivals or something, just playing with a different team, warming up maybe. And Lippmann and Rush I both use in that. Just so that I actually use these cards. Well, you can see I've not even put a chem style on Rush, but wouldn't recommend. Not worth getting. Dominguez already talked about, definitely worth picking up. Now Pepe, this is another card you don't see a lot of people use, and it's cheap, or relatively cheap. I kind of like this card, the pace, and I just find he's the sort of player that I bring on late game, especially if like Daniel James is tired. I will often go to Sancho before him. Definitely normally go to Sancho first. I just seem to prefer that card. Stats wise, it's probably like not a. Yeah, Pepe's probably got the better card, but I like the Sancho card. I do like that. But I am definitely in the market for another left mid. I will explain all of that again in custom tactics, but something I will ask you guys for if there's something you recommend getting Overmars. I'm thinking about, obviously from the icon swaps, but we will see on that. So yeah, both those guys just pacey, real nice, stick them out wide, and they are decent. Right, Diego Costa. This is a card that isn't pacey, and so you would think wouldn't really suit my team, wouldn't suit the meta at all. I like this card, I really do. If you need someone to bully up top, sometimes I even play him as like a stay forward cam, just to hold the ball a little bit and then lay it through, and he does a good job. He really does a good job. I like having this card on my team because he just is. He's just a bit of a beast, really. He's just a little bit of a beast when it comes to, you see, I boost his passing a little bit, and his dribbling, because I really do use him as that sort of hold the ball and lay it through type of player. But yeah, you look at his stats and you think, hey, he's not going to be great, but has strength and aggression, like, yeah. So yeah, I'll often stick Costa in that cam slot. And on that note, I think it is time to go into my custom tactics. So I tend to stick with one custom tactic, and this is it. Often I will change if I have to if the way someone is playing, I have to adjust and go deeper or something. But I really don't like doing that. I don't like playing the way that everybody hates in this game. I just think I hate it when people go like drop back one width, one depth. I just hate it because it just kills the game, and there is no enjoyment in that. So I try really hard not to do that, because if I hate it, why should I be doing it to other people? But I have found this has been my most effective form custom tactics, definitely. So we go for pressure on heavy touch. I just like the way that this mechanic works this year. I feel that it doesn't dive in too much like it has done previously. And yeah, I just find the balance. It doesn't drain too much on the stamina. It does the right amount. And then sitting in a nice 4 width and 3 depth, obviously quite deep, but not ludicrous. And then offensive, I play on balance. I go very narrow. I do go very narrow. But I don't find that restricts me, because people's defenses are so narrow. Playing with 3 width is actually wider than most people's defenses. So you do get options still. You do get options out wide. We've got James as a key one. He's always on that last man, on that wide man, and he just opens the game up. Players in the box, round about the middle. Corners, obviously less in, because you get counter attack from corners. It seems to be one of the places that you lose or concede most this year, is from your corners, and then free kicks on there as well. So you see I switched to the normal 4-2-3-1 with the 3 cams in this one, and the only real switch is obviously the fact that Martial goes out wide and Mane goes up top. Martial is okay out wide. There is no issue with him out there. He does a job. And so I really don't have a problem with him, but that is where I would like someone who would be better, is as the left cam of the 3. It is the position I'm looking at strengthening along with the right back. And then final piece, we are on to my instructions. Now, I've messed around with this quite a lot this year, depending on the player who I've got, but this is what I'm rocking with right now. Obviously Mane, I have stay central. I had him on getting behind, but I've moved it back to mixed attack, because I don't know if it was Mane in particular or if it was the instruction, I didn't actually find he was getting in behind all the time if I wanted him to. He seemed to get as if he would go and then sort of sit between the 2 defenders, and almost mark himself out of the game. So I switched that back to mixed attack, and it's definitely improved for me right now with this current patch anyway. Who knows if it will change again. And stay forward, stay central. Just get up there, get behind, because obviously everyone knows the through ball is ridiculous this year, and with someone at the pace of Mane, he just causes some problems at the back. Even if he doesn't necessarily score, he's stretching the team, and he makes players against me have to remember he's there, which obviously you want to do. Maradona I have again on stay forward just because of his stamina. I'd like him to drop back sometimes, and sometimes I manually bring him back just to help out if I'm really under pressure, but the stamina is the issue for him. I put him on a stay on the edge of the box for crosses. I don't know how much of a difference that actually makes, because I don't find that he necessarily does that at all. I'd prefer him to do that and hang back, but he doesn't always do that at all. And then I have them all on free roam, because I just find that confuses the opponents, because James will suddenly pop up in between these 2 on this side. And yes, it doesn't necessarily always give me the options, but I back Roberto Carlos and Robertson to stretch the game if I need them to. And that's why I'll explain what I have them on for that in a second. But yeah, I just like I can then, sometimes they all compact into the middle, and you've got ticky-tacky football right the way through. And when you're passing quickly, you pass, stop, pass. That's when your opponent will drag a player out of position, someone with the pace that's there slips in behind, and you open up and get an opportunity. So yeah, I have them all on free roam there. The wide players I have on default in terms of defensive support runs, because I just want them to free roam. I just want them to almost focus on that more than anything else, which works for me. I like it. It's very attacking sometimes, and also sometimes you find you don't have an option. If that makes sense, because they're all compact somewhere and there isn't an outlet, but that's fine. I just come back to these two. They control the game a little bit more, and then I go again and attack. Stay patient. Don't force things. That's one thing that I have learned, especially this year, is don't force something through. When it isn't on, just come back, restart. Right, so the middle two, now obviously I've messed around with who goes forward in this a lot. I've cut passing lanes, aggressive on them both, and cover wing. I was for ages playing cover centre, and I don't even know why, because obviously the fullbacks don't get forward anywhere near as much when they're not being covered. And so cover wing, leave that on default. These guys have got plenty of pace, plenty of stamina to be able to do that. Dominguez again was great at doing that, no issues at all. I have Kante on stay back, but I could have Mateus on stay back. It really doesn't matter. I could have them both or on default, but I like having it in one or the other, but it really doesn't matter with these two. They're both great. To be honest, Kante still gets forward occasionally, especially if space opens up, play a through ball into him so he runs onto it, and then bring him forward so he can join the attack. But either or, one of them coming forward just to support if these guys need it. But with these four up front, you should be absolutely fine. Most of the time they get the job done. But yeah, aggressive on the interception and cut the passing lanes. Now on the back line, the two in the centre I just leave on default. I just want them to do what they're doing. They do a great job on that. Now the fullbacks I have on overlap, because with free roam, with the width, the middle of the pitch gets crammed. It does with people's defences as well. Everyone's on drop back, one depth, and so the middle of the pitch is always packed full of players. So yeah, I have them both on overlap, get out wide. I do also have Robertson on join the attack, just because with Kante on this side, he's very capable of covering that left back slot if need be. And like I said before, Martial being my weakest player effectively. On the attack, I often think Robertson is primed with. Also, his stamina is great. He's a team of the year card. You could put him at cam and he would do a job. So I like him to join the attack as well when possible. And then obviously Alisson is on default. Don't go adjusting your goalkeeper. I wouldn't. You just don't need to. So guys, that will do it for my team. That is it. If you've got any suggestions for my team, let me know. Obviously, with team of the season or team of the season so far coming out, we will see what players we get. If there is anyone that I manage to pack again, I will try and fit them into my team. If not, I'll probably look at buying a player or two as well, just to complete my team this year. Not too many changes that I feel I want to or need to make, but yeah, I am definitely enjoying this team. But no, if you've got any suggestions, drop it down in the comments below. Let me know. I'll be interested to see what you guys think, and if you guys have anything that you think would improve my team. But team of the season is coming, so I will see you in solutions, packs, all of that stuff real soon. See you guys in a bit. Peace.